Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the premiere show of Get a Grip with Coach Elix. And not for nothing, but if I may say so myself, that was quite the start, wasn't it? Oh, and we have some other quite star here. My sidekick, it's already discombobulated, but we'll get to that in a minute. What do you guys think about that music? This is gonna be the best day of my life.
I love the music.
How about you, Mr. Mark?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome there, guy.
Aren't you going to introduce me?
Well, hold on.
He hasn't introduced himself.
Seriously, exactly. First of all, well, again, thank you. Thank you, Mark. So today's the premiere show of Get a Grip with Coach Elix. Get a Grip is really a show that it's really about putting excuses away and really stepping into living the life that you want right now. So the show, get really ready to be inspired, because this show, it really is about getting a grip and getting in action. So much more about that later. I'll tell you about what Get a Grip, where that comes from, what grip means. But I have two very handsome gentlemen here with me. One of them is very familiar, is the person that has an already very popular show at the station. So I'm kind of like riding his coattails. But this is Stephen the Medium, my better half. Hello, Stephen.
Am I on the air? Hello. And you're not riding my coattails. Let me just tell you at all. And I'm sure by the end of the show, everybody is going to know that's listening, and that they're going to listen to the replay are going to clearly get that you are not riding anybody's coattails at all. Sometimes you use my coats, and I don't have an issue with that sometimes. But seriously, I'm so excited about this and what you're going to share with these listeners, with your listeners. It's pretty amazing.
I'm really excited myself. And I also have a wonderful producer who produces Steven's show, but he was very kind and generous and said, if you need me, I'll be there. And of course, I need him. Hello, Mr. Mark.
Hello. Thank you very much for asking me. That I'm really excited to be doing this for you, and I know it's going to be a great show. People are going to learn an awful lot. So thank you for having me on the team.
That's the idea. And I think one of the things that draw me to be here and to be so excited about having this show is we are living on a very different time, and where we've been disrupted. The world has been disrupted globally. This pandemic has caused a disruption that many people don't know how to deal with that. We're used to, I say that we're used to having certainty in our lives, right? Like however it is that you define certainty. Some people think that we're certain that we're going to get up every day, and that we're certain that we're going to have a job every day, and we're certain that things are going to go however we want them to go every day. But the reality is that certainty really never was, never is, and never will be. And I think this global pandemic has really caused an interruption in our world. So people are now, they have no choice but to face that lack of certainty, if you will. You get what I'm saying?
I completely get it. And I understand how we always talk about the positives that come out of COVID, and look at this amazing positive. You're having your own show. And it is timing wise, it's perfect, because it just, it's right off the comment you just made, the statement you just made, that this fits perfectly in the environment of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of many things that you're going to get from being here, from listening to this show. By the way, I love to hear from you guys. So whether you know me, you just getting to know me, you just meeting me here on the air today, I love for you to call in 508-222-1320. Whether you just want to say hello, or maybe you're confronted by the uncertainty that we're living in. And if you are, no better time than now to call in and let's go to work. But one of the first questions that I get is, so what is GRIP, right? Where does that come from? So
who are you though? Where do you come from? Like what's your tell people that don't know you exactly your background. Like what brings you here? Why are you so amazing?
I am.
Yes.
See, I need, that's why I need a psychic. He actually does this in our life every day in, day out. He's reminding me, hey, who are you? Tell people who you are.
Exactly.
So hello, everyone. I am Elix Cintron. I'm known as Coach Elix. I've been a coach for over 20 years. I started coaching. I led a program for Landmark Education called the Introduction Leaders Program, and there's a huge coaching component in that program. And that really was my introduction to what coaching is and how coaching can be a transformative experience. I also, and that will happen in the early 2000s, by the way. At the time, I was also a healthcare executive. So I was living a very busy life as an executive for a healthcare company, a hospital system. And so for many years, I coached and I brought coaching into my executive career. And then about 10 years ago, I had that aha moment where I was like, wait a minute, coaching is my purpose. It's just not a job for me. It's my purpose. It's what I intend to do for the rest of my life. That's how important coaching is for me. So I decided, you know what, I got to step into that. So I created my own practice, Performance Coaching by Elix, and I've never looked back since. Was it easy? No. Was it scary? Absolutely. Was it one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life? Yes. So that brings me to, when I coach people, and this conversation, by the way, can be a coaching conversation, but it can be a whole lot more than just a coaching conversation. This can be a conversation where, if you want feedback, I can give you feedback. If you want, some mentoring, I can do that too. If you want advice, we can do that too. So this is an organic conversation. You tell me what you need and we'll navigate the conversation together. But one of the things that I tell my clients all the time is that and Stephen, you know this about me, I'm in the game. So when I tell people, listen, if he doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And you got to play big and you got to step into a gap. You want big things in your life. You want breakthroughs. You got to be willing to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And a lot of people get confronted by the idea of what does that even mean? And for me, what empowers me in having that conversation is that I'm living in the gap. I wake up every day and ask myself, how am I going to get uncomfortable today? What am I going to do? Or what is it that I want to do, but I'm afraid of taking that step? And I go into it. And Stephen and we've been together 27 years, and our life has been really mainly about challenging each other to step into that gap so that we can live the best life possible and we can be our best self possible every day.
Absolutely. I mean, everything you just said is exactly what we live. But listening to you, Elix, I just kind of like scream out. There's so many people that really need your advice that are really, whether it's professional or whether it's their personal life, whether it's something in their past that they're hanging on to, this advice that you have and that just really wealth of knowledge just is incredible for people. And the thing is, what I love you always say is that you don't you don't do it for people. You give them the tools to make this incredible change in their life, like a 180 change. And I know I said this Wednesday when we were advertising for today, was that I have seen so many of the transformations of clients that it's astounding. It's astounding. It really is.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I think that is, that's really important. That's part of, stepping into the gap.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one thing that, again, this is my first show. It's the premiere show. So,
really?
So dance with me. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm nervous, excited. I think excitement is really important, but
That's
I'm
good.
also a little bit nervous.
Well, though, if you want an example of getting out of your comfort zone, this would be it.
Well, absolutely.
Now,
That's the
Elix
point.
is very comfortable here on Wednesday with Steven's show.
Right.
Because Steven's running and your show pretty much runs itself. People call
Excuse
in.
me?
Well, you know what I mean. We take calls.
Spirit runs it.
Right now, Elix is establishing the theme and how this show's going to work. And for anybody, when I did my first radio show, I was so petrified I could barely speak. So getting off to a great start. Yeah, keep it up, and you already have calls on the line.
That's awesome. We're gonna get to those calls after we take the first break, because one of the things that I wanted to, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, and maybe you've heard of coaching, most people have heard of life coaching. I'm an executive coach, but one of the things that I tell people all the time, whether it's life coaching, whether it's career coaching, executive coaching, for me anyways, and I speak, for me, by the way, anything that you hear, it's not the way. It's one way. It's one way that has worked for me, and one way that I like to share with the rest of the world. So try it on. If it works for you, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. There's many other ways, and we're going to have plenty of people. My goal is to have plenty of people who will join in and will share with you other ways to inspire you and to get you in action as well. So I'm being told that I have to have a break, even though I wanted to talk more about myself. I'm getting more comfortable, by the way. So,
Lord.
But we're going to have to take a break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to take calls. Well, hello, and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I really hope that this music makes you jump out of your seat and dance, and it reminds you loudly that if you say so today, it's going to be the best day of your life.
It did for me.
And all it takes is you got to be willing to say so. So I think we have a couple of calls. So let's bring them in, see what's going on. Hello, this is Coach Elix. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Carmen Williams. I'm calling from New York City.
Hi, Carmen from New York City. What brings you into Get a Grip with Coach Elix?
Well, with this virus going around, COVID-19, it's very, very stressful. I worked all my life in the health field, and then I sing. I traveled with Kanye West with the album Jesus Walk. And now that I'm not able to, I'm retired and paying rent and the bills are piling up, it's very, very stressful. I try to meditate. I try to pray a lot. Well, I do pray a lot. And it's really, really stressful. So what would you recommend?
Well, first and foremost, Carmen, I get it. I think that anyone who does not feel stress over a situation that has caused such an interruption for the world, I would like to know what exactly they do as well, because I think feeling what you're feeling, it's completely natural. So there's nothing wrong with that. First and foremost, that's the first thing I want to say. What I want to ask you, Carmen, is when you say I'm really stressed, can you get to the source of what the stress looks like? So we oftentimes, if you think about I'm upset or I'm stressed, there's some narrative in the background. There's some story. So what does that sound like, Theo? Can you think about what that might be?
Well, when I say stress, I watch the news, the cable news. I see what is going on with the people rioting, with the disconsent for other people of different colors. It's like people are very, very angry. What is happening in the world, all around the world, the hatred, don't they get it that we're supposed to love one another? And you see this constantly on the TV. I know that they have the Black Lives Matter, and there's all different nationalities that are marching. People want change. They want better. They want to live together in harmony and peace and love. And it's just a shame to see this happening. I've never lived in when they had the oppression years ago because I'm not that old, but at the end of the day, I'm just watching and then seeing all these, your loved ones dying, my pastor passing from this virus, people in the church passing, your friends, and it just gets to be very, very stressful, and I just pray for the world. But I also want to mention, before this happened, I had a vision about 6 months ago. I saw 15 white doves in the sky. And when I looked, I saw a waterfall coming from a cloud, one cloud. And I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I said, now, what is this? And I prayed about it, not knowing that we were going to be in this epidemic right now. But this is what makes me stressful, seeing how we are treating one another. We have no empathy. People are hungry. How you going to pay your rent? You don't want to be evicted. You've worked all your life and you have no income coming in, but once a month you're living out the mailbox or your checking account. So that's what I mean by being stressful.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
That's it.
Yeah, I get it, Carmen. I completely get it. What I would invite you to consider is to ask yourself clearly one thing that comes across loud and clear as I'm listening to you is that this is not okay with you. That you clearly you want better, not just for yourself, but you want better for the world. And so what I would invite you to do is to ask yourself, how can I be an agent for better? What can I do? Because at the end of the day, we could talk about what everyone is doing or not doing, but that makes no difference. What makes a difference is when we ask ourselves, what can I do? What can I do today? And by the way, perfect segment for, segue for one of the conversations that I'm going to invite my guests to take on today. What can I do? What's one thing, Carmen, that you could do today? Could be a tiny little thing that is going to inspire you and inspire others so that you are an agent for change. Does that make sense?
Of course. There's a gentleman, he's 92 years old, and I get a food delivery every week. And what I do is I ring his bell and I give him the whole package, the soup, the meals, the bread, the desserts, every week. So I understand where you're coming from. I don't have money to give him, but when I get a delivery, instead of wasting it, I give to the homeless. If I see them laying in the street, I'll take something and give them food or something. They pick up bottles. If I have a case of water that is empty, I give them the bottles so they can go to the store and cash it in, hoping that they'll be able to get something to eat. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And by the way, money is one of many things that you can give. I wake up every day with a commitment to do something for someone that's going to make their day better. And sometimes that might be a hello with a smile. Sometimes that might be an act of gratitude, whatever that is. Listen, in this conversation, guys, there's no right or wrong answer. You got to look from within. I really get that your heart, it's pure, that what you want is you want this world to be a better place. And actually, Carmen, we need more people like you. And again, my invitation is step into the gap. Take, one little thing every day, whatever that, you're doing wonderful things. And I would even invite you to ask yourself, okay, I'm doing this. What else can I do? How can I raise the bar? And again, it has nothing to do with money. Money, again, is not the one thing that transforms people's life. It could for many, but it's not. There's other things that are much bigger than money. Anything else you want to add, guys?
No, Carmen, this is Stephen. How are you?
Hi, Stephen. I've been trying to reach you for a year and a half. It's a pleasure to hear.
So Carmen is using me to reach Stephen.
I don't think so. But Carmen, I got to tell you, as soon as I heard your voice and listened to the dialogue between the two of you, the entire time, all I kept thinking, honestly, was, thank God Carmen is in this world. Thank God. I could feel your energy and just thought, my God, that's why Carmen is here. So I think what Elix just told you is incredible advice. He is incredible, and I just wanted to share with you that the fact that you're here, in on this earth, and you're giving, like, offsetting what's going on in COVID is pretty spectacular, Carmen, and I thank you for that.
And I thank you as well. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello. You are live with...
Hold on a second.
Okay. Sorry.
We're going to be doing a break in
okay.
about a minute or so.
Okay.
Can I throw something in as a layman? I'm not an expert on
You
the
know,
topic.
Like a
no,
sandwich?
No.
You have a sandwich?
You know what this is? Mark dressed up for me because I told him to dress up, and he wants camera time.
Yeah,
people.
that's it,
So,
that's it.
of course, Mark, you don't have to ask. Go ahead. What would you like to offer?
Well, my thought was, and I tried to do this, take some time away from the television, from the news, from the things, from Facebook,
That's
from the
excellent.
things that are going on in the world that are stressing you. Listen to music, maybe read a book, just for some part of a day. I know Steve and you also are big on meditation.
We do.
And things like that. Take some time away from what's going on in the world, kind of decompress a little bit. And then when you get to that point, then you can come back and maybe look at it a bit clearer.
Excellent advice. So,
Yeah.
see, you're not just a pretty face. You're here to contribute
With pretty clothes.
to these conversations. So, are we going to take a break and then?
Yeah, we can do that.
So let's
if
take a
you'd
break,
like.
and then when we come back, we'll take more calls. So 508-222-1320. Well, hello and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I'm telling you, that music, it's just awesome. You know, it reminds me that, listen, circumstances are going to happen. Life is going to show up. However, life show up. Sometimes it's stormy, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have not such good days. So this conversation is not about how to change that, because if you're trying to change that, good luck to you. You're going to need it. This is about how to relate to the circumstances in a way that empowers you. The circumstances are going to be the circumstances. How you relate to those circumstances is up to you. And again, that song is a reminder that if you say this is going to be the best of my life, that's likely how the life is going to show up. So let's take the next call. Hello, you are live with Coach Elix.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Great. My name is Jean-Philippe.
Jean-Philippe, I think I recognize this name. I am so excited that you are calling. Tell everyone who you are.
So Elix was my coach most recently. I think we sort of we were working together for a year, and I'm a professional. I'm a director of technology. I've been working in schools for the last 10 years. And I started at a new place, and let me back up for a second because I'm a little nervous because I'm on the radio. So anyway, Elix was my coach. So, and I heard about the radio show, and I think it's a good opportunity for me to sort of like hear his words of wisdom in this forum, and to be able to ask questions. And so I'm taking advantage of this opportunity right now.
Beautiful. So you have a question for me?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know, like, I guess my question, I was listening to you talk about sort of, how you got started with coaching. And what I'm wondering about is, like, what was that experience like? Like, how did you come to this place where you were like, you know what, this is definitely what I want to do? And I think part of what I heard you say was you were sort of like going through it. You were doing some of that coaching on your own with Landmark. But at what point, what was the thing that got you to say, like, this is exactly what I want to do, and this is what I want to commit my life to? Mm-hmm. And what did that look like, smell like, feel like? What was that experience like? Because I'm trying to figure out, I guess, kind of where to go in that world. Like, you've worked with me in the past, and I think I've in my professional life, the person who I was when you started coaching me is very different than the person who I was at the end. I feel empowered. I feel like I've got all kind of control over my professional life in that way. Mm. But my sort of like my, they say, like, there's a difference between a job and a career, mm-hmm. right? So, like, I've got control over my job. I'm trying to figure out, like, where I want to go to in my career, like in my business life, in my next iteration of who I am as a business person, as in my career. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And if I was leading a group, I would actually ask the question, how many of you can relate to what Jean-Philippe is saying? And I guarantee, I'm asking the listeners, how many of you relate to what Jean-Philippe is saying? And I guarantee you every hand is going up. Simply because that is actually a terrific question. And the answer is very simple, Jean-Philippe. The answer is connect with purpose. Simply, that's what happened to me. I connected with purpose. Purpose is when you get to the source of what inspires you. Purpose is when you get to wake up and say, this is what I must do for the rest of my life. And it will make no difference whether I get paid or whether I don't. This is what I'm committed to doing. And the moment I connected with purpose, and for me, my purpose is very simple, by the way. I've learned to master, knowing that my purpose is to inspire others to be the best version of themselves. And I do that because I'm committed to being the best version of myself. So whenever you find yourself, and that's part of the G.R.I.P, methodology, and I'll get into, that, later, but that's part of, the process, the roadmap. It's really asking yourself, having that internal conversation with yourself. What is my purpose? What is it that I am, I must do no matter what? And Jean-Philippe, there's one thing, by the way, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but clearly, I love all my clients. So, anyone else who's listening, I love you. But there's something I always remember about you. And I know I'm going to get this right as sure as the hand in front of my face. You created one of the most powerful vision statements during the time that we worked together. And that was being extraordinary leadership. So my coaching to you, my dear friend, is you got to connect with that, being extraordinary leadership. And when you be that, everything else will show up effortlessly. Does that answer your question?
It does, and you brought me back to like that vision statement is always so important, and you're always reminding me to kind of to be in that, to be that, but the words, the purpose that you described, right? Like the vision is sort of like who I want to be, right, and how I want to be in the world, but the purpose piece, it's in some ways it's a little bit different than that, at least in my mind, right? Like the purpose about like why I'm doing it versus what I'm doing. Vision is like what I'm doing, and well, I guess there's why embedded in it, but I feel like the purpose is a little bit more specific about like how I'm going to get there and what's the vehicle that's going to get me there and what's the thing that's going to sustain me in my work every day to get me there, which is distinct from the bigger picture vision. So anyway, thank you very, very much, because you just got me clear about where I need to focus my energy and attention to figure out where I want to go. And that's really on the purpose, which I have a sense of, but I think I just need to flush it out and just make sure that I'm reminding myself in the same way that I am about my vision, that I'm reminding myself about the purpose, which is sort of like, again, they're similar, but distinct in some ways.
That, you know what, you make a great point. That's, how that shows up for you. For somebody else, they may find it similar. This is why this conversation is just a rich and beautiful conversation. There's no right or wrong. Whatever inspires you, whatever works for you, grab it, get a grip on that, and just get in action. So for you, Jean-Philippe, get a grip, get in action. You know what I mean by that. Thank you for calling, my friend.
I got you, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so I've been told to continue the conversation. Do we have other callers? So here, by the way, 508-222-1320. This is a great opportunity to connect and have a conversation with me. But so that brings me to what GRIP is. So GRIP is my own methodology. I've been working on this for nearly 20 years. It's also, there's an acronym. The acronym stands for Greatness Requires Intention and Purpose. So the next time you hear Get a Grip, I want you to think to yourself, greatness requires intention and purpose. If you want to be great, extraordinary, exceptional, it will require intention. You got to be intentional, and you have to be purposeful. That's what Get a Grip really, in essence, means. It's also a roadmap, and it's a roadmap that will help you make massive movement towards achieving your goals. However it is that you define your goals. And, the last call with Jean-Philippe and the call with Carmen, those are conversations. They're very different conversations. So how we get there may be different. And it will be different for each person. And that's okay, because it is your journey. So Mark, do we have calls? Oh, okay. So anyways, so that's what Get a Grip means. You guys have any questions? So
no, I mean,
looking at me with that inquisitive face. So
no, because
checking in.
I'm just listening to you, and I love, again, I just love the fact that you came up with this, that, this is your brand and how it works. So it's just listening, and, even though I live with you and I know that you use all this experience and, knowledge for our clients, to actually sit here and just hear you explain like who you are and what you do as like an audience member that's never met you is pretty incredible. But I would ask you something. For people that are sitting home and are so intrigued by what they're hearing from you and just are hesitant to pick the phone up to call, like what would you say to that person that their hands on the phone and they want to call, but they're being stopped by themselves. You know.
Sure. What I would say is, if he doesn't challenge you, he doesn't change you. And that's an easy, statement to remember. If he doesn't challenge you, he doesn't change you. GRIP has four parts. The very first part is about getting really clear about your goals. What is it that you want? And we get there through a number of ways, defining purpose, defining a vision. And once you have clarity over that, we start defining what are the things that are important for you. What are goals that you want to achieve? And by the way, sometimes we have big goals in life, right? Sometimes they're little goals. Sometimes they're things that we got to get done today or this week. You can use GRIP to make movement towards all of that at the same time. But one thing that that comes to mind is fear, right? Fear is that conversation that is designed to get in the way. And fear is, often this comes from, the neuroscience of fear and trust. Fear-based conversations will lead you to a certain, roadway map, and trust-based conversations would lead you to a different way. So sometimes for people, making that first step comes with a whole lot of fear. The conversations, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't look good? What if, right? How many of you, if you're listening, how many of you are confronted by that fear-based conversation? That's not going to change, by the way. Fear often lives in our primitive brain. It causes a hijack where we go into that state of fight, flee, protect, defend, where we are paralyzed by taking action. So that the primitive brain, by the way, was designed many years ago in the primitive time. And its job is to protect us from perceived threats. And sometimes taking a risk or doing something, that brain hears it as a perceived threat. So, yeah, that's not going to go away. Fear is going to be around. And by the way, we often looked at fear. We talk about fear as if it's our enemy. Fear is not our enemy. Fear is there because it has a job. Its job is to protect us. However, what we got to learn to do is to say, hey, thank you for your concern, and I'm taking action anyways. So hopefully this is making a lot of sense to you guys. And if it is, I invite you to call 508-222-1320 and have a conversation with Coach Elix live. And we're going to take a break. And welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix, my premiere show. Can you believe it? I'm so excited. And I believe we have a call. Hello, this is Coach Elix. Who's this?
Hello, Coach Elix. This is your friend Karen.
Karen, my friend Karen.
How are you?
I am excellent, Karen. Karen,
Well,
you're gonna
I
have
was-
to give me more.
Yes.
Because I can't place you, Karen.
Karen DiLorenzo.
What?
You couldn't tell by that voice?
No, because
Yeah.
I usually just hear the yeah. But oh my goodness. Well, thank you for calling, dear. Do you have a question for me?
Yes, I do. I would love some coaching because I'm having a little bit of a hard time with. I used to work 5 days a week, pull doubles at the restaurant, work like an animal, and now I'm working 2 days a week, which is less than half my paycheck. And I'm just a nervous wreck, and I need to get a grip. So
Yes.
I don't know what to do. And then it's very nerve-wracking. I'm trying to keep my daughter calm, trying to keep my mother calm.
So, Karen, this is a conversation that's probably a very familiar conversation for many people, and I'm glad that you called. And Karen is a dear friend. She's known Stephen for many, many years, and Karen, you're like family to us. So here's what I would invite you to consider. So pay attention to what the conversation is. So oftentimes when we go into stress mode or we go into panic mode, it's because there's some conversation in the background. And oftentimes we are human beings, our makeup is to just not pay attention. We just kind of like keep moving, and we're not pausing and paying attention to what's happening. So what I would invite you to do is just really hit the pause button, like that imaginary pause button. So whenever you find yourself stressed, say you find yourself stressed about money, ask yourself, what's the conversation in the background? Is the conversation, oh my God, I am going to blank, whatever that is. And if you have paper in front of you, write it down. And what you may notice, Karen, is that oftentimes those conversations that causes that hijack, I just talked about going into an amygdala hijack where your brain goes into that fight, flee, protect, defend, and you feel anxious and you feel nervous. Those conversations are designed, that narrative is often a narrative that is designed to get you off track, to get you upset, to get you scared. And it's often a narrative, Karen, that it makes absolutely no sense. If you really think about what is it that I'm telling myself, I've had people who said to me, Elix, sometimes I think I'm going to go homeless. Well, okay. Is that really going to happen? Or is that just a conversation that's designed to get you into an amygdala hijack, to get you upset, to get you concerned, to get you off center? So really pay attention to that conversation and be willing to reframe the conversation. Reframe it in a way that actually empowers you. Look for what it is that's working. Look for what it is that is good right now in your life. By the way, I tell people all the time, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how bad they look in that moment, if we really look, there's always a golden nugget behind it. Always, Karen.
Yeah,
Always.
no, I know that. I'm very, very fortunate in my life, and I know that, but my nerves take over. I'm a nervous person to begin with. I'll never be homeless. I'll never be hungry. I have got the best family, boyfriend, friends, everything. I know that, but my nerves, sometimes I just can't control them, and I'm like, I'm just so used to go, 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 and I'm not working today, and I'm supposed to be working today, so I'm like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. And by the way,
Scary.
that is a conversation that you want to, again, when we say I can't control my nerves, that's also, it's almost like saying, well, I'm not going to have the best day of my life. So
True.
you got to be willing to say, wait a minute, yes, I can. My nerves do not control me. I control my nerves. And that's a way of reframing, because listen, if you give power to, I can't control my nerves, you know what? Good luck with that one. Let me know how that works out, because it's likely not going to work out well, because
No,
you're going
I
to
know.
get really stressed out. So often think about, wait a minute, what am I saying? Yes, I can. Karen, I find Stephen and we correct each other all the time. There are days where I might say, oh my God, today's going to be horrible. Or he might say that. And I say, well, let me know how the day works out for you then. Because
Right.
that's the declaration that you're putting into the universe.
So true, and I know that.
Yeah. So you're declaring, in essence, I can control my nerves. So you're probably a walking physical wreck.
Not every day. I'm pretty good most days, but today's the day.
Yeah. Well, today's the day that you have access to changing that conversation, if you say so.
Well, it's so true, and it really does help just hearing it. I know it, but sometimes you need to hear it,
Yeah. And you know what? You are lucky enough to have Stephen and I, so you can call us, and I can help you get a grip in no time.
You're the best. I'm so glad I called you guys.
We love you. Thank you for
Love
calling,
you.
Karen.
Love you, love you, love you.
Love you too, and thank you so much for your help. You really did help me. My day already turned around.
I
Thank you,
love it.
darling.
Bye,
All right, thank
Karen.
you. Bye-bye.
Love her.
And we have one other caller. Hello, this is Coach Elix. Hello? Hello, Coach Elix? I can't hear you. Are you here?
I can hear something, but I just
can
can't hear them.
something in the background. Hello, this is Coach Elix.
Still can't hear them.
We are making an out call. I don't know. So whoever you are, if you want to call again, I'll do my best to take your call. But here's what I only have a few minutes left, so I wanna give everyone some homework. And here's the homework. We talked about connecting with purpose. We talked about connecting with what matters, that vision, so that you can get clarity around goal, whatever that is. Whatever it may be, for some of you, it may be a big goal, right? For some of you, you may be stuck looking to reinvent your careers, or you may be looking to step into a challenge that you've been wanting to but been afraid of doing so for whatever reason. So here's what I like for you to do. What I like for you to do is to take one small step towards that goal this week. One step. You decide what that step is. Just one step. And it could be a tiny little step, or it could be a big step. But one step. Commit to one action between now and our next show that is going to move you towards fulfilling that goal. And then I want you to call. I want you to call 508-222-1320 and let me know what happened. Some of you might actually have those breakthrough moments where you say, wow, I cannot believe that one tiny little step led me into a breakthrough, led me into something that I never thought was possible. But that's the idea. You got to be willing to step in. You got to be willing to step into the gap. You got to be willing to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Again, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So one little thing. You guys clear? Mark, what one step are you going to take, Mark?
Gee, I didn't know I was going to get homework.
That's right. That's what
I have mine.
I know Stephen
Yeah.
would. He gets to go home with me. So if he doesn't have a step,
No, I have a step. It's
Yeah.
exactly. It is just formulating the quickest way to get to the Burberry store.
oh, I I get that.
Exactly, because you know me, and when
Yeah.
I buy Burberry, I'm very, very excited, very happy.
Yeah, and you working really hard, and
Exactly,
you
see?
deserve Burberry. I'm actually okay with that.
See, and you know
Yeah.
that's a great thing, right? I mean, it's we have to, reward ourselves too, right? We have to acknowledge what we've done, reward ourselves, and it's a great thing. It's a good thing.
So I have a countdown of time, and I feel like I have plenty of things I need to say before we finish the show. So first and foremost, I do not want to end the show without thanking a whole lot of people who have been so instrumental in making this happen. The GM, Jim, thank you for giving me such a great opportunity. I am beyond grateful that you saw something possible in me and that here I am today. Mark, thank you again for being here, for saying yes when I needed you. There's, all my peers, my colleagues. I'm a fellow with the Institute of Coaching, which is a McLean Hospital and a Harvard Business School affiliate. And all my peers in the IOC, thank you guys for the support. I know many of you are listening, and I appreciate your support, your generosity, your attention. My peers in the International Coaching Federation, especially the board in New England. I'm a member of that board. Thank you again for the support that you give me. And my peers in the European Conversational Intelligence Collective. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that briefly. But first, ultimately, the one most important person in my life, Stephen, because without you, nothing would be possible. You are everything, and you've supported me, and you've created such an incredible opening for me. And I am grateful every day I wake up to have a day next to you. So thank you.
I am so proud of this show, of what you're doing, and you motivate me every single day also. So the fact that I get to be part of this also and hear you and listen to you and how you affect people is pretty great.
And I could never forget my Lindsay Darling, who is my brand and marketing manager. She's everything. So whatever you see, whether it's written, whether it's video, whether it's printed, whatever, she creates it. She's my voice. She's my brain. And I cannot begin to say thank you to this wonderful woman who's been with me for nearly 15 years, if not longer than that. And I've been lending her to Stephen because part-time. Because that's it. But anyways, again, thank you all for listening. Going to my social media, you can find me at Coach Elix. I am doing a conference in September, Changing Conversations for a Changing World. There's lots of information on my social media. And where can they find you, Stephen?
Stephen the Medium.
That's right. And where can they find you, Mark?
Here.
Every Wednesday at 5 and every Friday at 1.
No,
Again,
every Wednesday you skipped your show.
Oh,
At 3.
I'm sorry. 3, his own show, which is
Oh my God.
no.
Mark.
March
Dear God.
1320 jukebox.
That's what I
3 to 5 Wednesday, followed by Through the Static with Stephen the Medium and Coach Elix.
That's right.
And here, 1 o'clock. Thank you, callers. Thank you, Elix. Good show.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.